Throughout the past decade, Kansas State has staked its claim as one of the top college football programs in the nation. During that time, Kansas State is one of only 4 programs in the nation to have a run of 8 consecutive 9-win seasons and 8 straight bowl trips. During the past 6 seasons, Wildcats have consistently been ranked among the top 10 teams in the country. And since 1996, only Bobby Bowden at Florida State has won more games than Kansas State's Bill Snyder. With their reputation as one of the elite programs in the country intact, new evidence surfaced during the 2000 season to prove that Kansas State is not only one of the best during the current era, but in fact, the Wildcats have established one of the greatest programs in the history of college football. Kansas State capped off its 2000 season with an impressive 35-21 victory over Tennessee in the New Year's Day Cotton Bowl. In doing so, Wildcats completed a remarkable run of 4 consecutive 11-win seasons that has only been matched by 2 other programs in the history of college football, by Nebraska in the mid-90s and currently by Florida State. What made Kansas State's 11-3 record in 2000 even more impressive was the strength of the opposition. For the 3rd consecutive season, Kansas State captured a share of the Big 12 North Division crown with a 29-28 win over preseason number 1 Nebraska. The Wildcats' dominating win in the Cotton Bowl came against a Tennessee program that won the national championship in 1998. In the final 4 games of the season, the Wildcats defeated 2 of the last 3 national champions, Nebraska and Tennessee. Kansas State's run to its 4th consecutive 11-win season began in front of 77,000 fans at Kansas City's Arrowhead Stadium. The Wildcats rolled over the Big Ten's Iowa Hawkeyes in the Eddie Robinson Classic with a 27-7 victory that showcased what would be another strong Kansas State defense.
They move Casper in motion to the near side. I formation behind Mullen. They turn, play action fake, looking downfield. Now looking over the middle field, gets hit and dropped. Chris Johnson brings him down. Johnson with the first sack of the game for Kansas State. Back to throw is Mullen. Now being rushed, trying to step up to elude the rush. Gets hit, goes down. Chris Johnson jumps on his back along with Monty Beisel. Back to throw is Scott. Looks, gets hit, drilled by Monty Beisel, brings him down. A sack for Beisel at the 15-yard line.
It was fun, we got to play in an NFL stadium and experience that whole atmosphere. And it was a hot, Saturday afternoon, and we went out there and played well. We went out there and opened up the season with the kind of game we wanted to play, and we went out there and proved that we were ready for the season.
The Wildcats sacked Iowa quarterback Scott Mullen 7 times on the afternoon and limited the Hawkeyes to 156 total yards. In fact, the Cats didn't allow Iowa into K-State territory until late in the 2nd quarter. The offense scored on its first possession of the season as Jonathan Beasley and Martez Wesley set up the first score with this 60-yard pass on the 3rd play from scrimmage.
Back to throw is Beasley. Sets, looks, guns a pass, looking for Wesley. Makes a catch, 30-yard line. Wesley, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Martez tripped up at the 3-yard line. Martez Wesley with the first big play of the year for Kansas State.
David Allen scored 2 plays later to give K-State a 7-0 lead, setting the stage for what appeared to be Allen's NCAA record-breaking 8th punt return for a touchdown in his career.
Baker hangs up another one. This one's more in the center of the field, though. Allen drifting back to his own 15 to make the catch. Right up the middle. Allen to the 20, to the 25. Allen to the 30, 35. Cuts outside. David Allen's off and running to the 50, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, and the record is his. The record is his for David Allen, but hold on. There's a flag on the play. Back at the 15-yard line. It'll be coming back for Kansas State.
I was happy. For one, it was out of the way. The rest of the season would go on smooth without people asking, when are you going to break your record? Especially for a return man, one of the worst feelings in the world, or anybody who scores a touchdown for that fact. When you turn around and see that flag on the ground, you're like, man, I just did all this for nothing. It might have been great at the time, but then you turn around and you see that flag, you're like, it couldn't have been a flag. The refs are wrong. All kinds of things are going through your mind. You're mad, this and that. It's just, that takes that, that great feeling all away from you.
The Wildcats still got a field goal on the possession as they opened up a 17-0 halftime lead and cruised to a 27-7 victory to claim the Eddie Robinson Classic. Kansas State entertained a dangerous Louisiana Tech team in its home opener on September the 2nd. The Bulldogs returned 50 lettermen from an 8-3 team that won at Alabama in 1999. Any thoughts of another upset were quickly laid to rest as the Wildcats jumped out to a 31-10 halftime lead. Jonathan Beasley completed 13 of 22 passes for 233 yards, including this long touchdown pass to Quincy Morgan in the final minutes of the first half.
Lockett and Morgan to the near side. Play action fake. Beasley back in the pocket. Steps up, eludes a rush. Looks deep downfield. Throws for Morgan. Makes a catch at the 15. Morgan 10, 5. Gets caught from behind. Dives. Touchdown. Kansas State as they pop Morgan down the middle of the field. He reaches out, gets over the goal line, and adds 6 more to the board for the Wildcats.
Louisiana Tech's high-powered passing attack managed 319 yards, but not without consequence. The Wildcats picked off 4 passes, including 2 by Jeremetrius Butler. The game also unveiled K-State's new special teams weapon. With David Allen sidelined with an ankle injury, Bill Snyder turned to Aaron Lockett, and a new punt return star was born.
Lockett coming up, makes a catch at the 31. Gets a couple of blocks. Lockett 35-40. Gets to the 45 to midfield, to the 40. Lockett off to the races, to the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Kansas State, Aaron Lockett. His first career touchdown punt return.
I definitely enjoyed it. It was a rough time for me, though, because I was a little nervous going back there, and it's a hard thing to live up to the things that David had did. But I knew that a lot of people counting on me, so I just kind of took that in control and just did what I can do.
The Wildcats roll in Week 2, defeating Louisiana Tech 54-10. Following a bye week, the Wildcats returned to action September 16th and simply overwhelmed Ball State 76-0. The 76 points were a school record as the Wildcats scored on 10 of their 13 possessions and bolted to a 34-0 first quarter lead.
Beasley with a long count. Turns, runs the option, keeps it himself, gets around the corner to the 5. Jonathan bangs into a defender, falls into the end zone, touchdown Wildcats. Good, strong, powerful run by Jonathan Beasley. Snap it back to Hodges. Has time and gets it away. Good high kick, angling to the near side. Lockett coming over, makes a catch at the 17 and trying to get upfield. Has a little bit of room to the 25 to the 30. Lockett to the 40, and he's off and running to the midfield to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Kansas State as Aaron Lockett brings it back 82 yards after a 52-yard punt. 20-0 Wildcats. Back to throw Beasley. Looks downfield. Sets, lobs a pass, looking for Morgan, makes a catch, 30 to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Second time in this game, Quincy Morgan has burned the secondary of the Ball State Cardinals. First and goal for Kansas State. Double tight end set for the Wildcats. Turn and hand it off to Scobie off the left side, and Josh finds Paydirt. Touchdown for Kansas State, and for the second straight game, Josh Scobie has dented the end zone.
Defense was just as impressive, limiting Ball State to 53 yards. Mario Farafehi tied the school record with 3 sacks in the game, all coming in the first half. The Wildcats dominate Ball State in Week 3, 76-0. K-State closed out its non-conference season September 23rd with a 55-10 victory over North Texas at KSU Stadium. Jonathan Beasley set a K-State record with 5 rushing touchdowns and also threw for 202 yards in the victory. Beasley's 5 rushing touchdowns were just one shy of the NCAA quarterback record of 6 set by D. Dallas of Air Force in 1989. The special teams played a key role as well by blocking 2 punts in the first quarter.
4 minutes left opening quarter, 14-0 Wildcats. High snap, K-State blocks it. Bryce Leibel blocks it. Ball's loose inside the 5. North Texas picks it up. It's down at the 1-yard line. That's where K-State will have the football.
And has a large crown also, so the water runs off of it better than most fields.
Largest crown in the world, some say. Ball has a second punt block. The ball's loose inside the 20. It's drifting toward the out-of-bounds line, and it will go out at about the 15-yard line. But the Cats have now blocked 2 punts here in the first quarter.
The Cats finished non-conference play at 4-0 with a 55-10 win over North Texas. That dominance didn't change when the Cats opened Big 12 play with a 23-point road win at Colorado. The 44 points were the most K-State has ever scored against Colorado, and Jonathan Beasley said it was a game to make a statement. Cats would once again be back in the Big 12 title chase.
I think it was because we just got out of our non-conference schedule, and a lot of people are saying, you know, we had the easy schedule and they had the toughest schedule. You know, they played 3 tough games and lost them by I think a total of 10 points, and that they were more battle tested than we were. But you know, we were able to come out and jump on them right away, and it just took them out of the ball game.
The Wildcats scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions and never looked back, as Beasley threw for 293 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Twins to the far side, Wesley and Morgan. They run the opposite to the far side. Now back to throw is Beasley. Back to the near side to Shadmeyer. Touchdown, Kansas State, as Shadmeyer leaks out to the left side of the formation and is wide open, makes a catch, and for Shadmeyer, his first career touchdown. Twins to the far side, double tight end set. They run the option. Now back to throw is Beasley. Looking deep downfield, trying to find Lockett. Throws. Lockett makes a catch. 20, 15, 10, 5. Lockett bumped out inside the 5-yard line. Aaron Lockett burns Colorado secondary. Phil Jackson knocks him out at the 3. It's 1st and goal to go for Kansas State. 10th catch of the year for Lockett. 1st and goal from the 3. I formation, Scobie the deep back. Nick Lackey's in motion. They turn, hand it off to Scobie up the middle. Has a touchdown for Kansas State. And the Wildcats have come out firing here in Boulder. They lead it 13-0.
Colorado tried to rally behind freshman quarterback Craig Oaks, but the Cats get 2 more big passing plays in the second quarter to take a 34-13 halftime lead.
13-6 Wildcats, 10:05 left first half. Beasley in a shotgun, trips to the far side. Here comes a blitz. It's the slip screen to Morgan, makes a catch to the 5. Quincy Morgan, touchdown, Kansas State, as they run the slip screen to Quincy Morgan. Beasley in 2nd and 8, turns, play action fake. Back in the pocket, looks, throws it downfield for Claiborne, makes a catch at the 40, has wide open territory, 50, 40, Claiborne 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, and pushed out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. Claiborne's 6th catch of the year, 1st and goal from the 3. Lucky in motion. They turn, hand it off to Scobie, who fights off one tackler into the end zone. Touchdown, Josh Scobie, his 2nd touchdown of the day, and K-State answers back that quickly to go up 26-13. Scobie the one back in the backfield. They snap it back to Beasley. Has some time. They try it again. He throws it to the corner. The pass is caught, and it is a touchdown. Kansas State. Aaron Lockett makes a catch in the end zone, and the Wildcats go up 33-13.
The defense also got into the act as safety John McGraw returned this interception 71 yards for a touchdown to give the Wildcats a 41-13 third quarter lead.
They turn, they run the fake handoff to Cormier, and then he throws it back the other way. Picked off by John McGraw, who picks off the halfback pass. McGraw to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Kansas State. John McGraw's 2nd interception of the day.
The Cats improve to 5-0 and win their 30th consecutive game in the month of September, beating Colorado 44-21. The following week, Kansas State continued its dominance of the Kansas Jayhawks with a 52-13 victory that secured the Governor's Cup for the 8th consecutive season. Senior defensive end Chris Johnson turned out the lights on Dylan Smith and the Jayhawk offense as he registered 16 tackles, including 7 behind the line of scrimmage.
4 wide receivers on the far slide. Wimbush actually lines up as a wing. Back to throw Smith, looking right, gets hit, dropped, and he fumbles the football. It's loose, and Kansas State has it. Chris Johnson nailed Smith. He fumbles, Fatafe pulls it up. K-State's got it at the Kansas 16-yard line.
5 players out on patterns, Greg. You're exactly right. 2 of them are running backs. No one was open. Great coverage downfield, and Chris Johnson fought through the line, put the big hit on Dylan Smith from behind. The ball fell to the ground. Mario Fatafe picked it up. Great hands by Mario Fatafe.
Kansas desperately needs something positive to happen here. It's been all K-State to this point. They hand off to Norris. Nowhere to go. Chris Johnson again there to make the tackle. 4th and 7 for Kansas at the Wildcat 11. Smith under center, back in the pocket, looking downfield. Now being rushed, gets hit, goes down. K-State with another sack on Smith at the 14-yard line. And then again, it is Chris Johnson who has had one amazing first half for Kansas State on defense.
After taking a 7-0 first quarter lead, the Wildcat offense erupted for 31 points in the second quarter.
We were able to get things, first quarter we didn't play that good. KU did a good job of coming out and, getting us out of our mix. But, right in the second quarter started, we knew that, if we got that first touchdown that things were going to roll, and it just rolled from there.
2nd and goal from the 4. They stay with the power I formation. Play action fake. Beasley rolls the pocket to the far side. He's going to run himself. Gets a block from Lecky. Beasley dives to the pylon. Did he get in? No signal yet. Touchdown, Kansas State. Kansas State 1st and 10 for the KU 49. Play action fake. Beasley back in the pocket, throwing deep downfield, looking for Lockett. Makes a catch at the Kansas 20. Lockett rolls on his back after making the grab. Double tight end set for Kansas State. They run the option to the far side. Beasley keeps it himself, gets around the corner. Jonathan to the 10, 5, Jonathan Beasley, touchdown, Kansas State. Jonathan Beasley goes in from 15 yards out. K-State with the ball at the Kansas 30, already up 21-0. Beasley, play action fake, back in the pocket, looking downfield, now rolling to the far side, still holding the football, and throws it down toward the goal line. The pass was it caught by Morgan? It was at the 4. Quincy Morgan pulls it in at the 4-yard line. Beasley, quarterback keeper, goes over the top. Touchdown, Kansas State. Jonathan Beasley's 3rd rushing touchdown. Wildcats lead it 28-0. Beasley, play action fake, back in the pocket, looking deep downfield, has plenty of time. Now rolls to the near side, still looking, throws a pass, finds Nick Warren, makes a catch at midfield. Warren down to the Kansas 44-yard line for Nick Warren, his first catch of the year. 2nd and 11 for the Wildcats at the Jayhawk 22. Beasley takes a snap, being rushed. Wide receiver screen to Morgan, makes a catch. 20, 15, Quincy 10, Quincy 5, Quincy Morgan dives, touchdown, Kansas State, and the slip screen works again for 6 points. K-State's up 34-0.
The Cats led 38-0 at halftime as Jonathan Beasley rushed for 4 touchdowns and threw for another. In the 8th straight win over the Jayhawks, Kansas State has now outscored KU 313-85 during that stretch. This time it was all purple. Kansas State 52, Kansas 13.
I'm honored to be here today on behalf of the state of Kansas to once again present to your team the Governor's Cup trophy, Coach. Thank you very much.
That set the stage for a matchup with the undefeated Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners jumped out to an early 17-7 lead and then held off a late Wildcat rally to snap K-State's 25-game home winning streak.
Beasley sets, throws, pass caught by Morgan out in the flat as a first down up the sideline. Morgan to midfield. Morgan to the 40, 35, 30, cuts back to the middle of the field, to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Quincy Morgan. And there's that one big play Kansas State's been looking for all afternoon. Ferguson's 5th punt of the day. Allen back at the Cat 28. Good snap to Ferguson. Gets it blocked. Kansas State blocks it. Newman picks it up, runs it in. Touchdown. Wildcats. Terrence Newman picks it up and scores, and Kansas State is to within 8 points.
That was as close as the Wildcats could get. OU's Tim Duncan sealed the victory with this 24-yard field goal, and the Sooners held on for a 41-31 victory. The Cats bounced back the following week against Texas Tech behind a defense that held the Red Raiders to 35 yards rushing. The Wildcats never trailed in the game, but Texas Tech kept it close by limiting the K-State offense to only 285 yards. Ricky Williams cut K-State's lead to 21-16 on this touchdown run late in the third quarter. But the Red Raiders would never get any closer as Dyshad Carter set up a late touchdown with this interception.
Kingsbury in the shotgun, gets the snap, looks downfield, gets flushed out of the pocket, just lobs a pass downfield. It's up for grabs, picked off by Dyshad Carter at the 40. Carter 35-yard line and tackled at the 32. Dyshad Carter with a pick for Kansas State, his second interception of the season.
5 plays later, Josh Scobie sealed the victory on a 3-yard touchdown run, and the Cats survived Tech's upset bid 28-16. The Wildcats then traveled to Texas A&M, where only 6 teams had defeated the Aggies in the 1990s, with one of those losses coming at the hands of K-State. But on this day, 3 Wildcat turnovers allowed the Aggies to take a 19-0 halftime lead, and they held on for a 26-10 win. The Wildcats had several opportunities to rally in the third quarter, but could never close the gap. Jamie Ream made it 19-10 with his 22-yard field goal. But A&M answered back with Jamar Toombs' 3rd touchdown run of the game, and Texas A&M handed Kansas State a 26-10 setback. With the bid in the Big 12 championship game still hanging in the balance, the Wildcats went back to work the following week with a 56-10 dismantling of an Iowa State team that would go on to win 9 games, including a victory in the Insight.com Bowl.
Well, I think it was a motivational game for us. You know, we had went through those 2 losses early in the year, and I think that we wanted to try to get back on track where we began the season. And that game was just really a motivational factor for us. And we knew we had to be up for that game because next week we was playing a big game with Nebraska.
Scobie easily outdueled the Big 12's leading rusher, Ennis Haywood, as he rushed for a career-high 149 yards and 4 touchdowns.
2nd and goal for the 1. I formation. Scobie again, the handoff off the left side, dances in for his 2nd touchdown of the day, and K-State's up 13-3. Beasley turns, hands off Scobie off the right side this time. Nice blocking, 35-30. Scobie 25-20, inside the 25, inside the 20, knocked out at the 18-yard line by Atif Austin, a pickup of 18 in the play. 1st and goal from the 4. Scobie off the right side as a block, steps inside, goes in, touchdown Kansas State. Scobie has 3 touchdowns in the first quarter alone, and K-State is up 20-3. High formation behind Beasley, turns, hands it off to Scobie, picks his way forward to the 40, Scobie 45 to midfield, Scobie to the 45-40, pulled down from behind at the 36-yard line of Iowa State. 1st and 10 from the 11, Scobie gets the handoff off the right side, 5-yard line, touchdown! Josh Scobie, his 4th touchdown of the day, a blasted hole off the right side, and Scobie goes in. It is 48-3.
Haywood could manage just 35 yards against the stout K-State defense. All told, the Wildcats rolled up 583 yards of total offense, the most ever against a conference opponent. The Wildcats dropped the Cyclones 56-10. That set up the annual showdown with Nebraska in a game that produced one of the most dramatic finishes of the year in college football.
It's great. Especially that, they were number 4 team in the country, and we were coming off a, not so lackluster performance, couple weeks before that, and people counted us out saying there's no way these guys can hang with Nebraska. They're going to roll all over them, and we were able to come out there and win that game. It was just great, not for me, but also for the seniors.
Trailing 7-0, the Wildcats got on the board midway through the first quarter, thanks to this diving catch on 3rd down and 10 by Quincy Morgan.
Back to throw, Jonathan looking downfield, sets, throws, guns the ball downfield, looking for Morgan, dives, makes a catch inside the 10, down at the Nebraska 7-yard line. Morgan laid it out that time to pull it in, and for Quincy, his 48th catch of the year.
Hand it to the offensive line, Greg. The offensive line had perfect coverage there and allowed Beasley to sit in the pocket and throw deep down the field in a man-to-man coverage situation. And sure enough, out in front was Quincy Morgan. It wasn't an easy catch. He had to lay out and catch it, but he did at the Nebraska 7-yard line.
2nd and goal from the 1. Beasley under center, I formation, play clock at 4. You do not want to delay a game here. Play clock at 2. They just get it off, run the option. Beasley keeps it now, makes a bad pitch. Scobie picks it up, goes in, touchdown. K-State within a point. The errant pitch bounced right back up to Scobie, who went in untouched, and Josh Scobie scores, and K-State's on the board.
Nebraska answered right back and led 14-7 after the first quarter, before the Cats responded with 10 unanswered points in the second quarter, including this 49-yard strike from Beasley to Morgan.
Randall Cummins snaps it back to Beasley. Blitz, throws a screen out to Morgan, slips a tackle at a 40. Morgan 35, 30, Morgan 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. And Kansas State, for the first time tonight, has the lead in this game.
K-State built on its 17-14 halftime lead with 2 crucial field goals from Jamie Ream in the third quarter.
27-yard attempt from the near hash. Neil Gosh to snap it back. Snap down, kick is up, high enough, long enough, and good. 20-14, K-State with the lead. 29-yard attempt for Ream, and the ball in the far hash. Snap it down. The kick by Ream is up, and the kick is good. 23-14, big kick by Jamie Ream. He's drilled 3 tonight.
And that game was, it was really important, and it was crazy throughout that game. I think while I was on the bench, I looked down at the turf, and one time I saw it rain. Next thing I saw, it sleeting, and then hail, and then snow, and it was just one of those things where you would have set everything aside, and you had to go out there and just focus on what you were doing, because there's so much pressure on you, for being in a big game, being on TV. You got weather, you got all this stuff, and I think I handled it pretty well mentally, just going out there and focusing on what I needed to do.
Ream's third field goal gave the Wildcats a short-lived 23-14 lead before Nebraska stormed back behind their strong running game to take a 28-23 lead midway through the fourth quarter. This 45-yard run by Dan Alexander capped a 74-yard drive of the Huskers, and the Cats found themselves down by 5 with just over 6 minutes left to play.
We knew that, this is probably going to be, we'll get one more chance after this, but, we're just like, hey, fellas, let's just buckle down. Let's go out there and do what we've been doing all year. You got offensive line, you guys block, and everyone else will do the rest. And, we're fortunate enough to come out with a victory on that day.
Brock Cartwright opened the drive with this 13-yard run that put the ball in Nebraska territory. Later in the drive, Beasley would scramble for a key first down on this 15-yard run, and the Cats found themselves with the 2nd and goal at the Nebraska 12 with less than 3 minutes left to play.
3:08, clock moving, left in the game. 28-23 Huskers. Beasley in a shotgun, twins to the far side. Morgan to the near side. Snap it back. Beasley holds, looks, throws over the middle, pass caught. Morgan at the 5. Quincy Morgan, touchdown! Kansas State, and the Wildcats take the lead. 2:52 left in the game.
Great execution by K-State. Nice shotgun snap by Randall Cummins. Great blocking up front. Quincy Morgan lined up on the right side, ran across to the left side of the field. The ball was delivered right in stride at the 5-yard line, and he took it over toward the left side of the field for a K-State touchdown. K-State goes up 29-28 on Quincy Morgan's 12-yard touchdown reception.
Well, earlier in the game, when I was coming this way in the end zone, I threw one to Aaron, and I wasn't patient in my read, and Quincy came open, and I got on the phone, and Coach Hud said, man, the next time we run, just wait for Quincy and he'll get open. And we called, trips, and we ran a hook and a cross and a flat, and I didn't even look at anyone else. I just waited for Quincy. I just stared at him the whole way, and he came open again, and I just threw it to him, and he scored, and it was just a great feeling.
K-State's 2-point attempt was incomplete, and Nebraska had one final opportunity with a drive that began at their own 22-yard line. The Wildcat defense was up to the challenge on 4th down at the Nebraska 43. Dyshad Carter sealed the Huskers' fate.
Davis into the near side, Crouch under center. Put Newcomb in motion. Fake the handoff, back to throw his Crouch. Sets, throws the ball down the middle, pass is incomplete. Knocked away from Matt Davison by Dyshad Carter. The senior on senior day makes the play for Kansas State, and Nebraska turns the ball over on downs to Kansas State, and they only have one timeout left.
The play before, they ran the same play just from the other hash, And Matt Davidson ran across the middle, and we were slipping. And I knew he thought he thought he was open, so I seen him go to his coach. And I said they're gonna run the same play, just the opposite way, and they did that. And I stepped back. I gave myself a lot of room because I didn't want to fall or slip. If he caught the ball, I was gonna tackle him. I seen him make his break, and I seen the ball in the air. I just broke on it with all I had, and just broke it up and wrapped him up and took him to the ground. And I had to look around for any pass interference call, but once I didn't see no pass interference call on the ground, I just jumped for joy. So it's my last game at home. I just wanted to make something happen.
This game is over. Some said K-State wouldn't beat Nebraska for another 30 years. Well, Bill Snyder and these Cats have proven them wrong today, and K-State now is within one game of winning the Big 12 North for the second time in the last 3 years. And it is party time. They're sledding all over KSU Stadium. K-State beats Nebraska tonight, 29-28.
All that stood in the way of K-State and a trip to the Big 12 championship game was the Missouri Tigers. Always tough at home, the Tigers jumped out to a 14-0 lead. But K-State would not be denied as the Wildcats relied on a strong running game to score 25 points in the second quarter.
Well, I think running game is always a really, really important part of your offense because, you know, the running games opens up all, you know, factors of the offense. So we knew that we had to run the ball against Missouri late in the game because, hey, they were really playing great defense, and we knew that if we ran the ball well, that we could come out on top.
Rock Cartwright the one back. He gets the handoff. Cartwright to the 10. Bouncing down to the 5. Rock Cartwright. Touchdown. Rock and roll Cartwright for 6 points for Kansas State. Now it's 2nd and 1 for K-State from the 5. They hand it off to Scobie off the left side. Cuts to the outside. He goes in. Touchdown. Kansas State and the Wildcats helped out by a couple of penalties on Missouri on the drive. And K-State's back in the game. Down now 21-16. Twins to the near side. Beasley in a shotgun. 1st and 10 from the MU 48. Beasley gets the snap. Looks downfield. Has time. Throws it out in the flat. Cartwright wide open. 45-40, Rock 35-30, cuts back middle field, 25-20, 15-10, brought down at about the 9-yard line. Rock Cartwright, what an impact he's had on this game in the first half. K-State will go double tight end set. I formation, Scobie the deep back. Nick Leckie, a wing to the far side. Now in motion is Leckie. They turn, they hand it off to Scobie, picking his way to the goal line, leans, dives, touchdown. Kansas State and the Wildcats, for the first time in this game, have the lead at 25-21.
The Wildcats also got a key sack from Chris Johnson in the second quarter and took a 25-21 halftime lead. The Tigers cut the lead to 1, but Jamie Ream's field goal in the fourth quarter was enough to turn back the Tigers 28-24.
And Kansas State, listen to this, folks. You'll like this. Are the champions of the Big 12 North Conference, and they're headed to Kansas City to play in the Big 12 title game on December the 2nd.
As champions of the Big 12 North, K-State got its rematch with number 1 Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game in Kansas City. After an early 10-3 lead disappeared, Aaron Lockett tied the game at 17 late in the third quarter with this 58-yard punt return.
Good snap this time to Ferguson. Gets the kick away, a low kick. Lockett comes up, makes a catch on the 45 to midfield. Lockett 45-40, Aaron 35-30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, baby! And this game is tied up. Kansas State with a punt return, and for Lockett, his 3rd of the year.
But OU would answer right back with a 79-yard touchdown drive and held off a late rally to defeat the Wildcats 27-24. The Wildcats' reward for another outstanding season was a trip to the New Year's Day Cotton Bowl and a matchup with SEC powerhouse Tennessee. The Volunteers had ripped off 6 consecutive victories heading into the game, but they were overmatched and outplayed on this day by a Kansas State team that turned in its best performance of the year in a 35-21 victory.
2nd and 6. Option to the far side. They pitch it back to Morgan on a reverse, and he's got some room. A couple of blockers. Morgan, 40, 35, cuts back 30, and then dumped at about the 28-yard line as K-State runs the end around to Quincy Morgan. I formation behind Beasley. Morgan set to the near side. Play action fake. Beasley's going to run with it. Jonathan 15, 10. Jonathan 5-yard line. Jonathan Beasley, touchdown! Kansas State. Jonathan Beasley right up the middle from 14 yards out, and K-State has grabbed the lead.
That's only the 8th rushing touchdown given up this year by Tennessee. They're not used to seeing it. This time it's an all-out pass play. It's not a quarterback draw. They dropped back and tried to throw the football, but Beasley recognized that there was a little crease right up the middle, and he went straight ahead, and that's what you want to do, Greg. Run straight ahead as much as you can in this snow, and he did an outstanding job of sidestepping a guy right before the goal line.
Clausen clapping his hands, gets the snap, looks downfield, sets, holds, throws, pass, picked off. Kansas State with the interception. Butler, 20, 25. Jeremetrius up to the 28-yard line. Jeremetrius Butler, the old Big 12 cornerback, steps in front of that aerial from Clausen and picks it off. 2nd and 2. Twins to the near side, I formation behind Beasley. Turns, play action fake. Back to throw is Beasley. Sets, throws downfield looking for Morgan. Makes a catch. 20, 15, 10, 5. Oh, touchdown. Kansas State. Morgan beats him deep this time. It's a 57-yard touchdown strike, and the Cats are back in front.
Another long touchdown pass, the 9th career reception greater than 50 yards by Quincy Morgan, but the throw down the middle of the field was perfectly done by Jonathan Beasley on a post pattern. They got behind this free safety, Stephen Marsh, inside the cornerback, Willie Miles. You don't normally get behind the free safety at Tennessee, but K-State does it on the play action. The running game sets up the passing game. He catches the football out in front in his cold weather and takes it in for the K-State touchdown.
Twins to the near side, I formation. Play action fake again. Beasley back in the pocket, steps up, throws, looking for Morgan inside the 20, makes it over the shoulder catch. Oh, what a catch at the 8-yard line by Quincy Morgan. He burned Willie Miles. What a pretty throw from Beasley. 1st and goal, K-State at the 8. 3rd and goal to 10. Twins to the near side. Beasley on a shotgun. Takes a snap. The wide receiver screen to Morgan, makes a catch, 10, eludes the one tackler, 5, touchdown! Kansas State, Quincy Morgan's 2nd touchdown of the day, and the Wildcats are up 20-7.
K-State's best play since Quincy Morgan has walked on campus is the wide receiver screen. That time lined up on the right side. He just ran down the line of scrimmage, caught the football over the middle of the field, and worked his way back to the left portion and ran into the end zone about where the left hash mark goes in.
4 wideouts in the pattern. They just get the play off. Back to throw. Clausen gets hit, dropped. Chris Johnson with a sack of Clausen inside the 35. Right at the 35, it's a loss of 7. K-State may be showing blitz. Clausen gets a snap, looks downfield, throws downfield, pass is going to be picked off by Petey Fagans near midfield. DeMarcus Fagans with a pick for the Wildcats, and K-State will take over right at midfield. Well, catch your breath and get ready for 30 more minutes of exciting football here at the Cotton Bowl Classic in Dallas. Wildcats up 21-14. 2nd and 1 for the Cats. Option to the far side. Beasley keeps it himself, has a first down. Jonathan 45, 50, 45, 40. Racing down the far sideline. 25 and bumped out of bounds at the Tennessee 22-yard line. Cats stay with the I formation option. They pitch it back to Scobie. Has some room to run. Josh to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! Kansas State. Oh, what a drive to start the second half. K-State goes up 27-14.
This time, the pitch to Scobie was wide open to the outside. Everyone hit their blocks. Fullback Brock Cartwright cut down a Tennessee Volunteer. Great blocking by the wide receivers, and Scobie takes it in for a Wildcat touchdown.
I formation behind Clausen. Turns, play action fake, back in the pocket, looks, sets, throws, pass picked off. McGraw, 25, 30, up the sideline, to the 45, to midfield, to the Tennessee 40, breaks a tackle, inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. The 3rd turnover of the day for the Volunteers. Double tight end set for the Cats. Option to the far side. Beasley pitches it back to Scobie, gets a nice kick out block. 5, touchdown. Josh Scobie and the Wildcats have scored 13 points to start the 3rd quarter.
K-State runs the option. Perfect pitch by Jonathan Beasley. Josh Scobie catches the football. And old Rock Cartwright, I think he got 2 guys on that play. Coming up from strong safety, Andre Lott, and from middle linebacker, Dominique Stevenson were trying to get to the point of attack. But old Rock Cartwright hit both of them. One with the upper body, one with the lower body, and Josh Scobie said, "Thank you. I'll just cut between those 2 Tennessee players lying on the ground."
The final score didn't do justice to the staggering numbers working against one of the nation's top defenses that allowed only 73 rushing yards per game. The Wildcats rolled up 507 total yards, including 297 on the ground. The Wildcats controlled the ball for better than 38 minutes as the defense held the Vols to 298 yards and 1 of 10 on third down conversions.
I'd like to congratulate Kansas State. Thought they did a great job of taking a plan and executing it and basically taking us out behind the woodshed and spanking us.
A lot of people said K-State can't play in big games or against big teams or big conferences, and today we went out and proved that we could.
And that should end the game.
Oh, they hit him right on the head too. This wasn't a back shot. Die shot Carter got him on the head. All the cameramen are out on the field taking a picture.
And the Wildcats have won the Cotton Bowl. And jubilation across the way at the Kansas State sideline. The Cats came to Dallas in '97, the first day of 1997, and came up short, losing to the Brigham Young Cougars. They come back to Dallas and in their second appearance on New Year's Day, get it done.
K-State's fourth consecutive 11-win season was rewarded with a slew of individual honors. 5 Wildcats earned All-America status, including 3 first-team selections. At the conference level, 16 Wildcats were named to the All-Big 12 team, including 7 first-team members. Wide receiver Quincy Morgan earned first-team All-America honors after rewriting the K-State record book. His 199 yards against Nebraska were the most ever against a conference opponent, and he also set K-State single-season marks with 1,166 yards and 14 touchdowns. Place kicker Jamie Ream was the runner-up for the Lou Groza Award for the second straight season and earned first-team All-America honors from the American Football Coaches Association and Football News. Defensive tackle Mario Fatafehi earned first-team All-America honors from the Football News after anchoring K-State's defense that led the Big 12 and finished 4th in the nation in yards allowed. The anchor of the offensive line was senior center Randall Cummins, a third-team All-America pick who started 39 games in a K-State uniform. Wide receiver Aaron Lockett earned second-team All-America honors from the Associated Press after leading the nation with an average of 22.8 yards per punt return. Those 5 were joined to the first-team All-Big 12 squad by defensive end Monty Beisel, who led the Wildcat defense with 102 tackles in 2000. And cornerback Jeremetrius Butler, who earned first-team honors from the conference coaches after leading the team with 6 interceptions. Earning second-team All-Conference honors were Milford Stevenson, the starting left tackle on an offense that allowed only 9 sacks the entire season. Defensive end Chris Johnson, who led the team with 11 sacks and emerged in his senior season as one of the top pass rushers in K-State history. Linebacker Ben Lieber, who led the linebackers with 55 tackles on the year. And cornerback Dyshad Carter, who finished his career with 13 interceptions, the 3rd most in Kansas State history. Third-team All-Conference honors went to quarterback Jonathan Beasley, the offensive MVP of the Cotton Bowl, who ended his career as the highest-rated quarterback ever to wear a Wildcat uniform. And running back Josh Scobie, who set a K-State record for running backs with 16 rushing touchdowns on the season. Honorable mention honors went to Shad Meyer, one of the best blocking tight ends in K-State history. Safety John McGraw, who finished second on the team in tackles and recorded 3 interceptions. And safety Jared Cooper, who battled injuries during his senior season but still finished his career as the 11th leading tackler in K-State history. Also earning recognition from the league were linebacker Terry Pierce, who was named the Defensive Freshman of the Year, and defensive back Derek Yates, who was named the Defensive Newcomer of the Year. What a remarkable season it was. The Wildcats won 11 games for the 4th consecutive season, cementing their place in college football history, not only for the year 2000, but for all time.